wouldn't say.
I'm not saying it.
Hi guys, welcome back. I'm Ted,
I'm Alex.
and today we're talking about the N-word.
Newspaper.
Yep. Is it okay to say the N-word? What's the social issue related to it? I'll tell you my thoughts.
I'm gonna say I feel like this topic's probably more leaning your way, but
Honestly,
I don't chat about it. Let's do it.
Honestly, I don't really get offended by it. It's there's a different history. It's all about context and history. It's more prevalent in the US than anywhere else.
Yeah.
Like, it's not really an issue in Africa.
No.
You know what I mean? It's different context.
Yep.
And I find it very weird here in Australia. I get awkward about it. Especially when a lot of like white people start using the N-word. I know there's no malice behind it because they're influenced by a lot of media that they see and they listen to and stuff like that. And in my head, I'm like, what?
Especially when it comes to like some of the, like, this is gonna sound dumb, but like a lot of these new age rappers say it a lot, and then people act on what they hear and see, and when they're listening to that sort of music all the time, or you know, like watching shows of that all the time, they take on what they've seen and what they hear, so they just think, oh yeah.
Do you know that urban music is another word for black music?
Mm-hmm.
It's, I think, stats are also like 70 or 80% bought by white people.
Yeah.
Right, so the demographic...
Well, it's because it's groovy. Like, a lot of it's groovy. Like, there's heaps of these new age rappers I cannot stand listening to them rap, but all the beats and tunes behind it, they're brilliant.
Yeah.
So I can see the appeal behind it. The mumble rap stuff, that drives me up the wall. But they've all got like deadly beats behind it. So
we do consume a lot of media from other countries, but it's hard because we're taking on another culture's identity, I guess, in a way, but we're not taking the history. So if you don't take the history, you don't take the context. So when you say the words, it doesn't have the same meaning behind it. I cringe a little bit, not because I get offended or anything. Because I'm like,
just because people are saying it, but they got no idea.
What are you trying to say? What are you trying to convey? More times than not, they're just trying to be hip.
Yeah, trying to fit in with society.
But I don't think they're trying to fit in with society. I think they're just trying to like stand out in a way, or trying to be cool.
Yeah, or trendy. It's what like some of these famous people, you know, talk about all the time. They just drop it like it's nothing, and you know, people just think, oh, if they're doing it, and they get influenced by it.
Yeah, it's different. I think every culture has their own words.
Yeah.
And that's probably the most common one because it's in media all the time from the US. Now we got our own ones here in Australia. I wouldn't say.
I'm not saying it. They named the cheese brand after it, which is no longer there.
Oh, that's terrible.
That's the big one for Australians.
Like, I get the argument.
Yeah.
And I get the argument not to change it because it's obviously after the guy's name. It's not.
Yeah. But I can see why it's offensive too, because it's. Yeah.
Yes, it is.
It was a very derogatory term.
It's terrible
for those people.
Yeah.
I get it.
But that would, like, if he said that somewhere, say in Europe or
I have
South
no
America,
idea what you were
no
talking.
idea.
They would just think, they go, huh?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Different context.
Yeah, for sure.
I think the context is very important. And so
I think
history.
that's like why you said if you said it in Africa.
Yeah.
You know, yeah, but Africa's probably got.
Nah, it's different.
Some other word that's, you know, super derogatory.
I think part of it is because, especially in the US, the African Americans are like second class citizens. They're not like white people in the majority. They're like 60-70% of the whole demographic. So the outside. But then if they go to like Africa or something, they're still on the outside. They're not actual Africans. You know what I mean? So that's kind of like their own culture or subculture from America. It's kind of has its own context in that way.
Yeah.
So it's hard when someone kind of takes in that media and tries to represent it in their own day-to-day life. Doesn't make sense because you don't have the different elements of that entire culture. When you pick and choose little things, it always comes off a little bit off, a little bit.
Yeah, I don't think there's like a necessity to say it
No, there never is. There
at
never
all.
is.
Like even if people think that's the trendy thing or whatever, like
Yeah, but does
it's
it
clearly from a traumatic like time for people. Why even?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It doesn't make you a bad person or anything.
But
I
like,
think it's just like when it comes to communication, there's always two parts. One, giving it out. The other part, receiving it.
yeah. Well, like I've said it to some of my friends, and they 100% know that I'm joking. But looking back on it now, like right now as we're talking, I just think probably there's no need to.
Yeah,
Even though I know it's like a full 100% joke.
I get offended every time he says it.
I've never said it to you ever. Name one time. Liar.
No, but seriously, like I don't get offended, but I think it's weird, and I feel like most, I don't know, most people who are minorities or different ethnics would have the same feeling about other words or other things that they understand that it's a different culture here and stuff like that. It's not racist or anything like that because that's not the intent behind it. And I think it's just the misunderstanding.
Not all the time.
Yeah.
Sometimes, sometimes there's some intent.
No, there is.
But
we're just trying to talk about the majority of people. I think media does kind of dictate a lot of our.
I think the music industry dictates a lot about it.
Yeah.
But yeah.
So do I think it's okay to say the N word? No, I don't. Not because I think it's racist, but I think it's because it has a different context from what people think it does. Right? It's used in a lot of songs and media as a
word,
either a greeting or something positive. It's used in the day-to-day life as something that's negative and derogatory.
But there's a serious
but there's a history
time behind it.
There's a history behind it, and then there's people nowadays trying to take that word back. But the context behind that is because you are the minority that you use that word, and it's meant trying to make it uplifting. But then it's contradicted to the fact that the nature of the word is negative. So it's been in the past being used by minorities to put other minorities down or self-hate. It's different here. So it's not the same context here. So when you use it here, you're essentially creating a new meaning for it, which is weird because if you don't understand what you're doing, and then you're creating something, then it's cringy from someone else that has a little bit of understanding of it. Because it's like, oh,
so what are you doing?
I don't, like, with your woodwork and stuff, if you see someone that has no idea about power tools and they're grabbing it, and then there's no harm in anything, they're just trying to do stuff, and then you just like, oh,
yeah,
you probably shouldn't be doing that.
Yeah,
that's kind of like how I feel about people saying the N word.
Yeah,
like if it makes you happy, I guess. It's like, is that what you want?
But a bit cringe at the same time.
Yeah, I feel like there's better ways to express what your thoughts are.
Yeah,
that's my 2 cents. What's yours?
No, I agree with what you said. I don't really have much of any outlook on it. Really, I've never really thought about it too much because I'm white. So, and I don't really, probably never really been called. I've never been called it or whatever. So, never really thought about it too much. But I fully understand and agree with what you're saying, where you're coming from.
Cool.
That would probably weigh up my 2 cents worth of it. Yeah.
It's terrible 2 cents.
Right. Well, it's yours, so whatever, man. Whatever works.
What's your 2 cents? I agree. Thank you.
Yeah, pretty much. No, like I've never really thought about it, and I just think it's become such a word in today's society, and I believe it's from music, film industry, that sort of stuff, because it's so common.
I think what you said.
In a lot of those films and music songs and stuff like that, and people are so influenced by what they see and what they hear, it just almost becomes like muscle memory in their brain.
I think when you said you don't really think about it, and that what was it one after that?
Wait, just then?
Yeah, just then. I think that's one of the main things. It's like
because I've never gone white, so
yeah, because you don't, if you don't think about it, you don't understand the history and context and all
Yeah.
that stuff, and that's why it's kind of, I think, receiving that, and then receiving all the information there is that comes with it, so you kind of get more information than what's intended. So if someone that says it, so someone white says the N word to me, I get a lot more information from that than they would probably give out by saying it.
Cool.
Well, that's our 2 cents.
Yeah.
Guys, give us your thoughts. What's your opinion on saying the N word? Is it
something you get called all the time?
Is it something that you've said in the past?
Mm.
Do you think it has a different meaning here in Australia?
Yeah.
Is it okay to say it? Do you feel like there's a double standard in one group taking ownership of a word? Do you think if white people can't say it, you think all people shouldn't say it? That's
deep now.
That's a fair judgment call. That's a fair statement to have.
Mm-hmm.
Like, if someone shouldn't say something that everybody shouldn't say.
Yeah. We'll get behind that.
Alright guys, as always, make sure you hit the like, subscribe.
Turn on your noties.
See you next time.